And roll. Thanks everybody for being on. Denny Grimes here, the Master of Real Estate. It is Friday, and you know what that means. We're going to have some mastery conversations. So if there's something you would like to take care of or cover, then let's go. Other than that, we can pick up with where we were this past week on Recon or anything else you have on the plate. Is there anybody here that would like to go first? I'm going to pop into the chat. And John, you have got something, you got your name in there, John. What would you like to discuss today?
What I'd like to discuss is going from the meeting or, meeting a lead to securing a visit, securing a meeting with them. I'm a buyer. I'm focusing on buyers. So I'm looking for a buyer, to get in and sign a BBA, get the meeting with them. And I've got some good leads, but I haven't been successful in getting them to a meeting.
Okay, well, let's work on that. There's a lot of ways a buyer is going to come into you. I mean, if you're lead generating for a buyer, um, that's one thing. If they call on a sign, that's another, or if they're a referral. So why don't you set up a scenario and we'll work on it a little bit. Don,
Sure.
I see you're here. Would you like to be the co-host?
Sure.
Hey, Don. My scenario is that most of my leads right now are coming from Facebook ads. So I am calling them, texting them, and putting them on the monthly nurture, neighborhood nurture, but I
Okay,
have not got them to a meeting.
that's great. All right, so give me 1 second here, and I don't know if I can do it or not while I'm talking.
Unique New York.
Oh, there you go. I got cover that. This is a I got to get Don set up as a co-host, Matt, and take over a little bit and help John. He wants to convert inbound buyer calls to an appointment.
Thank you.
Awesome. New leads, huh?
Yes, sir.
Internet?
Yes, sir. Facebook ads.
Oh, Facebook. Got you or your team?
Me.
Okay. What's the call to action?
The call to action is to get them to a meeting.
Right, but what is the ad? What's the call to action in the ad?
If you're interested in any properties 400,000 and above, give me sign up here, and it goes into command, and or actually it's through Reminder Media, so it goes to
Yeah,
them.
yeah. So you're that cool, and you're capturing leads that way, eh?
Yes.
That's good. Um, what's the information gathered? Phone, email,
Phone, email, and name. Yeah.
and it requires phone and email.
Correct.
Good. Okay,
And then
because
I
if it
go to I'm sorry, I go to forewarning and validate it all.
Yeah, yeah. Well, because if it was just email, I'd tell you
Yeah.
just forget about it, throw it in the
Right.
trash. But yeah, if you're getting valid phone and emails, here's what I would do, because you're asking how do we convert,
Yes.
right? That's the question. Speed to lead, number one. So we need to get to that, get some communication to them as fast as humanly possible. You may be able to integrate that now with ChatGPT or one of the AIs to at least get them an email, get them a text as fast as
I
possible.
text them as soon as the lead comes in. That's my first contact.
Awesome. Yep.
Second is a phone call.
And here's the text. Hey, John. Hey, it's John. Noticed that you were inquiring about properties. When can you have a 3-minute conversation? When's the best time to have a 3-minute conversation?
Yeah, my text right now says I'd love to have a 5 to 10 minute call with you when the time is convenient, and I don't think that's direct enough.
No,
So,
when's the best?
Yeah.
When can you have a 3-minute conversation?
Okay.
Keep everything short, because the more
Yeah.
we give people, the more interpretation it allows.
Yeah.
And then from there, I don't wait for them to respond.
Okay.
As soon as humanly possible, or as soon as you're most viably able to, call them,
Okay.
and it's really simple. I'll role play it with you if you'd like.
Yes, please.
All right. So I'm you.
Okay.
You're me.
Okay.
But I'll use your name
All
anyway.
right.
Hey, ring.
Hi, this is John.
Hey, John. This is Matt. I'm the
I'm
realtor, by the
Matt.
way.
I'm
Yeah.
Matt.
Hey, it's Matthew Keller Williams. I can I borrow 30 seconds from you? And if it's not relevant, I'll be the first person to hang up.
Sure. I can do that. Thank you.
I noticed that you were on our website looking at inquiring about some property. Just wanted to reach out and find out what's prompting the search.
Right. And just kind of, I'm in New York. I'm kind of looking for, the potential of moving to Florida and just checking out different areas.
You
Nothing
need to be,
specific.
you need to be the buyers you're talking to.
I
You don't
am. My
need to-
ads are going to Pennsylvania, New York, and New Jersey also. And that's where most of my leads are coming from right now.
So here, I'm going to referee this just for a moment
Okay.
for everyone. So everyone listen to this. This is a key skill to have. Sometimes when you call, they don't want to talk at all. Evidently, he asked you a question. He bought a vowel for 30 seconds, and you're willing to talk.
Mm-hmm.
That is a green light.
Okay.
All right. So basically, you still got the ball in your hand, and you can move forward, and you haven't fumbled it yet. So that's the point I want to make. If they're hanging up on you at that point, I don't know if Jesus could say anything to make them stay on the phone.
Right.
That was yep. Good catch there, Denny, because that's it, guys. I want to speak to people that want to speak to me. I did my prospecting this morning and I got hung up on a good bit.
Yeah.
And I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that response because I know that if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me, hey, you want to gotcha. So you're up there. You're looking to move down here. You're in, and if I understand correctly, you're exploring areas right now.
Yes.
Gotcha. Well, what areas are you most intrigued by?
I really like the general Tampa area. I've been looking up in West Chase, that area, and I also like St. Pete, just looking around.
John, are you in my service area? I'm in Tampa Bay.
I am, yes.
I'm teaching my competition here. It's okay. It's all right. We're good. No, there's an abundance for everybody. So what?
I thought you were in role play when you asked that. I'm thinking, well, you never even identified where you were.
Yeah, no.
I wasn't sure how to answer that, but I just went for it.
Well, I was like, because you're like West Chase. I'm like, oh, so you know this area? Like you're here.
John, aren't you with Kelly?
Yeah, I'm in Tampa Central with Kelly.
Okay, yeah. Okay,
yeah.
good.
Kelly
Well,
invited him.
John, it's nice to meet you. I'm actually
Nice
I'm in Keller Williams Suncoast. Brandy Coffee bought up all the market centers. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so going back into the role play, then when you tell me you're exploring these areas, so where I'm going, guys, here, people start online 12 to 18 months out before they do anything. And in today's world, sometimes it's even more because people are always looking at property. You're talking to one right now that always looks at property, and I'm not necessarily in the market. So I want to find out where they're looking and then what I would do going back into the role play. John, just out of genuine curiosity, what's influencing you to make this move?
Right now, the weather.
Okay.
And the beaches.
Okay. Outside of weather, is it weather and the beaches? Anything pulling you down here?
No income taxes is kind of interesting.
Yeah. So there's a lot of time out a moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now you've got a skilled telephone. Matt is skilled telephone, outbound telephone maker.
Mm-hmm.
You got somebody still talking. Now, Matt, you can speak to this if you want. He's continuing the Mr. Rogers approach right now, skillfully, in my opinion, because he's not met any resistance. He's not sensed any urgency to hang up. Am I being accurate right now?
100% accurate. The reason I'm taking the mile is because you've given me the mile.
Okay.
So now I want you to sense he's got macaroni burning on the stove, macaroni and cheese.
Yep.
How do you get something tangible out of this now?
Yep. So John, it sounds like it might be a bad time. Am I picking that up right?
Yeah, I'm headed out of the. I got to go to work in about 10 minutes.
Okay, gotcha.
I got to get ready to go.
Gotcha. Well, hey, would you be upset if I asked to have another conversation with you so we can get more into the minutia what you're looking for? Not now.
Yeah, maybe not now. I'm still looking around general, but I'm glad I went to your website and looked at it. So yeah, I'd like to talk to you later. I just don't have time now, and I'm not in a hurry to move. This is something that that's going to happen. But
Got it. Last thing I'll ask you, little cheeky question before you go.
Okay.
You haven't like gotten hitched to a realtor in the area yet, have you?
No,
Okay. Would you be offended if I ask for an opportunity to help you when you get closer?
not at all. No.
Great. So I tell you what, I'm gonna go sharpen a marble now. I'm gonna get off the phone with you, but
Okay.
when would it not be an inconvenience for us to just connect on an aside?
Well, maybe day after tomorrow,
Got it. All right.
Yep.
So,
yeah. Okay.
so you guys that are here, we'll stay on this for a little bit because everyone can get better at these calls. To make here's what Matt said. I want you to remember. You're trying to offer free samples of bourbon chicken to somebody who just walked out of an Italian meal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're not
Okay.
that hungry yet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not really a rejection. It's not no, it's just not now. And then even if you get somebody who may be a little bit hungry, you have no idea what's going on in their life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Generally, most people, when they make a call that have been on a website, and David, you make an interesting comment in the chat, they may be calling to see the one house. Here's how I begin my mindset. They probably were on 10 different websites, looked at 50 different houses. So don't say, do you have any questions about 111 Main Street?
Yeah.
They
Right.
don't even remember that. It
Yeah.
may not even have been them. It might have been their spouse.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah. Notice how I didn't bring up any property.
Right.
And
Okay.
and
Right.
if here's the key takeaway there, John.
Yeah.
Even if you inquired about a property, wouldn't talk to you about it
Really? Okay.
unless you brought it up.
Okay.
And
Okay.
even then, I'm going to try to get off that topic as soon as humanly possible and move on to more about what made you click on that one.
Okay.
What in what areas you exploring in. Remember the three things that matter in real estate. Why are you buying or selling? When do you need to buy or sell by? And what happens if you don't?
Okay.
And then when you start to sense, because your phone calls, you're probably not going to be as reciprocal as that. They're not going to want that discourse.
Yeah.
They're going to be quicker, like we did at the end. You're going to do something similar to what I did. Hey, it sounds like that's the Chris Voss. It sounds like it's a bad time.
Yeah.
I got that right?
Yeah.
Okay. You're gonna call it what it is. You're not gonna say is now a bad time.
Yeah.
No. It sounds
Okay.
like it's a bad time. Do I have that right?
Okay.
And then would you be completely against the idea of us having a conversation when you're free? Not right now.
Mhm.
Remember, tell them I don't even want to speak to you right now. Not right now.
Okay.
But and here's why I do that, guys, and then I'll caveat to Denny. I always, you get the call me later, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what I say to that is, hey, absolutely. I get asked to call people back a lot. Would you genuinely like me to call you back? Or is that just your polite way of saying, hey, Matthew, get off the phone with me?
Okay.
I want to get their permission that they actually want to speak to me. And then the last thing I will do, John, if I don't get you at that date and time, what would you like me to do next?
Oh, okay.
Because remember, they're giving you permission to call them back.
Yeah.
Say
Yeah.
I call you and I don't reach you. What do you want me to do next?
Okay.
How they answer that will dictate whether they're real or not. If they say, oh, just,
Great.
leave a message, I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Suspect.
Okay. Okay. That makes sense. I like that. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
A lot of people could be curious. Like Matt said, he looks at houses for kicks and giggles.
Yeah.
They may be like 6 months, 8 months, 12 months, $1 away. And so they may want help, but for sure they may want help with no strings.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, don't be talking about if they want what church they want to get married in if you haven't had the first milkshake with them yet.
Yeah. Okay.
So be general to specific.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
All right.
That's good. Thank
Thank
you.
you for bringing that up, John. Who
Thank
else
you.
wants to go
Thanks,
into a
Matt.
role play? And if you don't have a situation, we'll give you one. In fact, Matt had something happen today that maybe he wants to talk about. So
Oh, we Maria and Paulina got to hear that one too. I don't know if they're on the call.
I think
You guys want me to go into it real quick?
They're on the call.
Oh, they're on the call.
Yep.
So I represented a buyer showing condos in Anna Maria Island, and my client wanted to see a condo that was listed with a for sale by owner service. So he's representing himself. Well, wouldn't you know it, she wants to make an offer. So I made the offer. Guess what? I didn't ask him from the gate, right from the rip. I didn't ask him if he was paying commission. Why? I don't care. I don't care. I know John's eyes are like, what? Yeah, no, I don't care. I don't care if they're offering. Why? Because
Put it in
commissions
the
are
contract anyway.
Yeah, I wrote it in the contract.
Okay.
Just wrote it in. What you focus on expands. So wrote it in the contract, sent the offer over. We get his counter. And this guy, he's a nice guy. He's not. Sometimes you wish people would be dicks because then it's easier to deal. It's easier to know how to deal with them. But no, it's a super nice guy. And the long and short of it is, condos listed at 779. We offered 740 with him paying the co-broke. He countered back at 770 and wanted to split the co-broke because the buyers are required to pay it now.
Whoa, hang on. The buyers aren't required to pay it by law. Or you're talking about situationally.
No. That Denny, you're seeing where I took it. You picked up on that. So I'll read it to you guys. It's this really short because Denny and I's attention span is that of a goldfish. So he said, we're willing to entertain the process of including the carport in the sales price. Our counter is 770. Remember, it's listed at 779. And he's throwing in this caveat of the carport. No, the carport was included. This is why 92% of for sale by owners fail to close because they have no idea what they're doing. So he said, 770. In addition, we'll offer to split the buyer's sales commission of 3%, understanding that it is now the buyer who is responsible for paying their own agent. What do you think it did? You guys can come off mute. This is mastery.
They'll pay, but from which money?
I mean,
Well,
if you get a counter, present it to your client.
Well, that is the
Well,
counter.
yeah,
Then you present it.
Hold on.
See what they say.
Denny.
Everything
Well,
is
I think-
negotiable.
You call the agent.
Isn't
I
it all
get it.
from proceeds?
I have to get some clarity.
Yeah.
When I go to McDonald's and they want, and I order a double cheeseburger and a soda, they ask me what size soda. I said, well, I'll ask for clarification. Well, what sizes do you have? Like, I'm always doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So the 3%, is there a listing agent involved?
Nope. For sale by owner service.
So, okay, so the listing fee, he's quoting there's a listing fee of 3%. So is that what he had in his mind that he was going to pay as a total commission?
He did not have in his mind that he was going to pay anything.
So why are you splitting? Why is he saying he's taking 3% and giving you half? Where's the other half going?
He's willing to contribute 1.5, and he wants the buyer to pay the other 1.5 because the buyer's required to pay their agent in his mind.
Okay. So I'm kind of up to speed. And so what would be interesting for me to know, and hey, listen, this is a group effort here. And so you can ask, I don't want him to tell. I want you to start asking questions because this is how you gain practice at getting clarity. All right. So I'm interested in now your conversation with the buyer.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm going to hear next.
Yep. So what did I do? Well, first I called the seller because I wanted to get clarity. He didn't answer. So I did what I'm obligated to do under our ethics, and I called my client, the buyer. To Janet's point, there is no listing agent. He represents himself. So I called my client, the buyer, and I said, hey, I've got a counter. But remember, we talked about setting expectations this morning. I said, but I don't think he knows what he's saying. And I haven't confirmed it. So I'm going to read you his counter verbatim. Remember, guys, do not spin your narrative. verbatim, make him the bad guy. This, remember, Denny and I talk about this all the time. This is, the seller said this, the listing agent said this. So this is what the seller's saying. And I read that to her. And then I extrapolated. I said, to my client, her name's Terry. I said, Terry, this is why 92% of for sale by owners fail to close. If you remember us having that conversation, they don't know what it costs to sell a property, and they know just enough to get themselves in trouble. He's countering you back. It was listed for $779. In effect, he's asking you to pay $786 for the property. What do you want to do? And I said, I haven't spoken to him yet. So she said, well, I'd have a conversation with him and see if you can fix this. Okay. So here's what I said. I said, I can guarantee you one thing. I'm going to have a conversation with him, Terry, and I'm going to at least get his vocabulary correct and his head screwed on straight. But I can't guarantee you it's going to change the math. So then I spoke with the seller. Questions yet?
Yeah. So offer is 740. He's countered at 770. You say he's actually countered higher than his original asking price. So I'm doing the math on that. What's a 1.5% is 11,550. 3% is 23 roughly. Which would be 23,000, which is what I would have used. I wouldn't have used the 1.5. I'd have used the full 3%. He's countering at 802. No.
So I just did the 1.5 because that's what he was asking to be on her side, in addition to the 770. And then we're picking and paying owner's title. In Florida, we have owner's title insurance. I know some states they don't. Colorado, Maria and Polina, they don't have owner's title there. So here, owner's title on that purchase was $4,500. So which that increases the seller's net by $4,500 because we're going to pick it and pay it. So that's where we got to the 786.
I got it. Okay.
Yep. So I called the seller and we connected. Here's what I said. Hold on one second. Let me pull this up.
Did you ask him if he's going to leave the carport? Is he going to leave the asphalt as well?
It's funny that you say that, Denny, because I was joking with the girls today. And I said, that'd be like me telling you I'm going to sell you my house for $400, but now I'm probably going to cut the garage off.
Or I'm not going to leave the in-ground pool.
Right, exactly. Did anybody ever see that old Richard Pryor, the old movie with Richard Pryor, where they said, "Oh, we're taking that," and then they get there, the pool's gone, the cabinets are gone, everything in the house is gone. Anyway, so I call him, and guys, remember, I don't represent him, so I don't have a horse in the race other than I represent my client. I called him and I, so you guys know, I write scripts for myself. Like, even though I've been doing this a really long time and I'm great at conversational dialogue and Socratic dialogue, I have to have talking points in these tough conversations. So I wrote a script for myself and I said, first and foremost, can I have a sensitive conversation with you? And a sensitive and direct conversation with you. And I have nothing but mahalo for you. He has a home in Hawaii. Mahalo means love, respect. And so he said, sure. He said, I would ask nothing more. And I said, all right, well, and then the second disclaimer I have is I'm not here to change your mind. I am here, however, to correct your vocabulary in what seems to be some misconceptions you may have about this lawsuit, because I believe that's what you're referring to, correct? And he said, yes. So now I'm going to go through this really quick. I said, most people, including yourself, it sounds like, have heard a lot of noise around this, and it's created confusion. I have a non-rhetorical question for you. In your mind, historically, Who has paid the commission? And he said, the seller. I said, can I correct you? He said, sure. He said, the buyer has always paid the commission because every dollar in this transaction still originates from the buyer. Smoke and mirrors decide as to what side of the settlement statement the charges fall on. He said, I agree with you. After he said the seller paid the commission. So I've already kind of sliced the turkey, as Denny and I talk about. I said this lawsuit did, however, set two precedents. Only two. It did not change the world like people thought. It set two precedents. Number one, offers of compensation can no longer be directly advertised in the MLS. We just can't wave a red flag as to what we're going to pay people, buyer's agents, that is. The second precedence it set is now real estate is like a professional industry. It's not the wild, wild west anymore. Buyer's agents are now required by law to have contracts with their clients describing their services and what they charge for them. They can't just hope that the listing agent pre-negotiates what they're going to get paid from the seller, as they have in the past. Makes sense. He said, yep, got it. Understood. I said, into the second point, by the way, my business didn't change because of this lawsuit. We've been using buyer brokerage agreements for 30 years, since buyer's agency was a thing. And he said, okay. And then, by the way, he's affirming. I'm asking questions as we go, and he's affirming. He's buying in. He's like, okay, I don't disagree. Okay. I said, so that is it, and that is all. This lawsuit did not mandate that buyers pay their agents directly, and in addition to the price of the property.
I'm a goldfish, Matt.
What's that? Yep.
I'm a goldfish, land the plane.
So last but not least, I said that buyers, this is important for everybody. You can use this. I said, you see, buyers don't have a separate pile of money labeled agent fee. They have a total budget. If they have to pay their agent directly, as you're implying, that money comes out of what they can offer you. So when you counter in the way in which you did, we're not splitting any brokerage fee. You're just asking the buyer to pay that much more for the property. It's really that simple. And he said, you're right. He said, it's really just about my net. And I said, okay. So in essence, you're telling me you want to net no less than what you bought it for 2 years ago, which is $750. He said, that's it. And that's all. So he bought when the market was on the decline, and he wants to cash out for exactly what he bought it for. But the whole conversation was what I didn't want to have happen is the seller and the buyer talk, and it come down to my commission. I wanted to correct his vocabulary.
So let's debrief this a little bit, and you guys can ask your questions. I will let you guys talk first. I've got a series of questions to ask Matt. So, but you guys go first.
I just wanted to say, like, since you're correcting his vocabulary, and obviously you know more than I do, but I wouldn't have introduced the word lawsuit. I just would have said ruling or, something else, because when you said lawsuit, to me, that was like, wait, whoa, what?
Maybe settlement. Maybe settlement would have been a better word. I don't know, Susan. All right.
Yeah,
Who
it was
else
just
has
shocking.
a similar question? Any other questions for this, for Matt on this? I mean, I'll go, and maybe it'll prime the pump a little bit. All right, Matt. So did he ever mention to you that he wanted to net what he paid for it? Or did you just look at the tax rolls in Florida? That's kind of public information.
Right.
And you deduced that.
I actually deduced it last night when I was doing the math. And then this morning when I had this afternoon, when I had that conversation with him, the reason why I was going through those points with him was I was tearing apart the argument. I was peeling the onion back. And then the last point was like the final shot to the jugular. So in essence, when you're countering like this, you're saying you want to net $750, which is what you bought it for, and no less. Am I getting that right? And he said, yes, you're 100% right, unequivocally.
So I'm not done. So when you do, assuming that you had well, were you planning on getting a no set commission, guys? Were you planning on getting more than a 1.5 he was offering?
No. I put into the contract that 3% would be paid by this on the seller side of the settlement
Got it.
statement.
All right. So
Yep.
then just if you figure the math, I did it right in front of all you people. I get nervous sometimes. A 3% commission on 770 would be 773. Higher than the countered.
Three percent commission on 770 is 23,000. So it would be 770. It'd be 793. But he was already willing to pay 1.5. He was willing to pay 1.5. He wanted the buyer to kick in 1.5.
So you got him to pay 3%, right?
He was in agreement to pay 1.5 and wanted the buyer to contribute 1.5 as well. So 11,500.
0.97 divided by. So here's what I'm saying. I said it backwards. For him to net 750 with a 3% fee, the sales price would have to be 773.
Mm-hmm.
So so he countered at 770 with a 1.5% fee. So okay, so one of the things I want to say with you guys, when you have conversations like that, which is pretty smart of Matt to look at that. And in Florida, we're finding people that are $100,000 or more below if they bought the property in the last couple of years. I mean, that's almost, if they bought it in the last couple of years, they're underwater deep.
Yeah.
And so two things I'll say about that. Number one, when you start using net terms, maybe on a listing presentation, maybe in this scenario, make sure you get clarity on what net is, because on your mind, you're thinking net of commission. On their mind, they're thinking walking out of the title company with a check. And if you don't get that clarity moving up front, you've got a battle to fight later. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Secondly, while we're on this, if you don't have anything else to ask Matt, he brings up another topic, an objection we've never covered yet. And it makes me think of it. What if somebody makes an offer? Have you ever had a buyer look at what they paid for it, and they want to make an offer based on what they paid?
That's what my client did.
They bought it probably 18 years ago. They paid $280,000 for it. Now it's worth $800,000. So who would like to handle that role play? Because people sometimes look back at tax rolls and buyers get sneaky thinking, I'm going to develop my strategy based on what they paid for it.
Mm-hmm.
If I may add to it, actually, I just had a situation recently. It was an investor who bought it, as a distressed property, and it was obviously able to be seen on Zillow. And my buyer client said, look, they bought it for like $450 just last year, and they're asking $700 now.
Got it. That's what we're talking about.
Yep. And go to Susan's point, I think it was where somebody was talking about, why did I say lawsuit?
Yeah.
It's case by case dependent. This is somebody who is well versed in, he's a very high net worth individual who rubs elbows with a lot of multifamily property owners and attorneys. So I didn't have to mince words with him. And I said, if I understand correctly, you're asking about the lawsuit that settled last year in August, or you're referring to. Am I understanding that right? So that's why I called it out. If this was like a first time home buyer, or some 86-year-old that doesn't watch TV, I would have said, I would have used softer words, settlement, agreement, whatever. But it was the case that called it.
So Susan, that was a really good pickup, on the wording. I also made a note too that he had said correct, and I'm sure he didn't. Normally, we're taught not to use that word to correct, but he probably had a method of what he was thinking. I don't know if I just said correct, but generally, when you're skilled like that, words just don't pop out of your mouth. They go through a filter before they go out. So
Right. I use the word correct very intentionally there, and misconception, because he was so, if you know, I read his reply, his counter verbatim, which is and I'm paraphrasing when I say this, I'll split the commission with you because the buyer's required to pay it now. That is why I use the word correct intentionally.
he used something we talk about a lot here. Well, who paid it in the past, right? We've had this conversation before. Well, of course, the seller did. If you didn't like the word correct, Matt used it intentionally just because he had a method in the way he was playing the chessboard. You could say, you're right. Where did the money come from? And it came from the buyer. So you can get the same point across to be a little bit more tactful if you're working with that kind of person. So I see some hands up. Ella, good to see you. Great seeing you at family reunion. Way to come up and give us a knuckle bump. Your hands are up. You want to do the role play, or you have another question you want to ask? Susan, Michelle, and Ella.
I just wanted to point out that what with regard to Matt saying lawsuit, I kind of had the similar jolt, but I saw it as a pattern interrupt. And I also saw it as a comment that went direct to the pain point. It's sort of voicing the fear and getting it out there. And then, I'm not going to be on the back foot if he then uses it as an attack.
Right.
Method.
It's always, I always like to look at it. What's this really about? If we start to use fluffy words with people, we never get to the brunt of it. So that's why I'm calling it out. And because he is who he is, and the word lawsuit isn't obtuse to him, it's not foreign. Let's call it what it is.
Got it. Good. Michelle.
All right. Hi, guys. I have a listing that's been on the market since the end of September, and we had a decent number of showings, but really no offers at all. The challenge that I have is in a new neighborhood. So the builders are offering all type of incentives. I reduced the price from 270 to 258.9. The incentives that the builders are offering is
Doesn't matter.
okay.
Doesn't matter.
So my challenge is, I just want to know, how should I approach this so that we're
Couple
attracting?
questions. Let's get some clarity. Why isn't it selling?
The price. It's always about the price, I feel like.
So that is the direct approach. I was going to ask her what's her flavor of Kool-Aid, because if she starts buying into the Kool-Aid the sellers are drinking, well, it's because of the builders. No, it's not, because that's why I said it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we can offer to buy their rate down and maybe do creative finance. No, we only have one lever to pull when competing with new construction. One lever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one lever is probably the biggest lever on almost every listing out there. So the issue is we have that all over Florida right now, and right where I live. So the issue is, if you want to get into your phone, you need 4 numbers to be correct. What's it listed at?
It's 258.9.
Okay. So what you have to ask yourself, let me ask you, is the first number right? Is it in the 200 family?
Yes.
Is the second number right?
Yes. I
Oh.
was.
The
No.
second number's right.
No way. It's never the last 2 numbers. It's either the first number or the second number.
What?
And if you think it's the other 2 numbers, then you must like grape Kool-Aid.
Michelle. So the two is right. So it's not worth a 199, huh?
It'd probably go like that at 199, would it?
It would, yeah.
All right. So let's move on to the next one. The 5. The 5 is right.
Probably not.
All right. I
Whoa,
was going to
whoa,
say,
whoa,
because you're
whoa,
telling me the
whoa.
8 is right. You're telling me the 8 is wrong. So the $800 is preventing that property from selling, baby.
8,000. So it's
Well,
two.
yeah, 8,000. Right. 8,000 is not, that's not preventing the property from selling.
Okay.
If the builder's offering these incentives, you're more than $8,000 apart.
Right.
So that's the conversation you have. Listen, why can't you have that conversation with your seller? It's so simple. You are 1 or 2 numbers off. The first number seems to be good. The 5, if the 5 is wrong, here's the great thing, you guys. We've eliminated everything from 5 up. So let's go down.
Okay.
Hey, Michelle, I've got some phenomenal news. We are 1 number away from getting your home sold.
That's right.
That's
You
a
guys
big
aren't getting the
number.
scoop.
It comes with a lot of zeros behind it.
But it's 1 number. I know the medicine that will cure your sickness.
Yep.
You just have to change 1 number.
1 number.
The question,
One
and I'll
number
let
away.
and I will let you decide what it is. It just can't be higher than this.
Mm.
So you're asking if you realize you've got a seller, and I use the term smoke and sweet and low, and I think people understand it, but I've had people say, I don't understand that. Do people smoke sweet and low? Do you guys get what I mean when I say that? I don't want to say snort and sweet and low because I don't want to associate anything really with drugs.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a seller that's being stubborn, the skill in an agent is how to communicate, how to communicate with them that the market's saying no, the 3 outcomes. How many different ways can you say it? That's why we came up with the 3 M's. So my question is, Michelle, or anybody else that wants to talk about it, and I see some hands, we'll get to them, is are you having candid conversations with them? As simple as, listen, if you wanted to get in the phone. So if you keep putting 2, 5, and I don't care what you do with the other 2 numbers, but you're going to have a 2 freaking and 5, and your phone doesn't open. How long will you have to do that before it does?
Oh, okay. I was wondering. Okay, I see where you're
Yeah,
going.
I say
password.
I say this with so much compassion, Michelle. You're a little emotionally attached to it.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to see them sell it for less. So you're trying to figure out, you're starting to miss the forest through the trees, because now you're like, well, let's look at these incentives over here, baby. These are some good incentives. Like, what do we need to do to compete with these incentives? But you already know the answer.
Yeah.
We have to practice radical detachment, as I've said before. Just like when I talked to that for sale by owner today, I told him, I'm not here to change your mind. What I am here to do is correct the misconceptions that you have about this situation. I was not attached to how that conversation went.
Okay, so this is my question. You walk into my resale and you walk into the brand new house. They look exactly the same.
I understand, but what is the problem though?
Wait a minute. Okay, so gas is kind of the same. So 7-Eleven's got it for $2.50, and the one across the street's got it for $3.10. Where do they go?
Yeah, mine is cheaper though.
No,
but cheaper.
But it's not. It's not, because I guarantee you. Where are you at? Tell me where you're at.
The house is in Perry, so it's south of Macon in Atlanta.
Okay, you're in Georgia. Got it. Well, thank God your market's not as bad as Denny and my market. So, but you still have the builder incentives that you're competing with up there, right?
Right.
So they're probably paying all the buyer's cost to close.
Yep.
They're probably buying the rate down.
Yes.
And they're probably willing to throw you a little more scratch as a realtor to sell their property, right?
Correct.
You don't have to beat them up to get 3% and 4%. You just get it.
Right.
Add all those together, my love.
And they're buying a house that no one's clipped their toenails in the carpet.
Right.
Okay.
Right. But just that alone, add all those numbers together.
Yeah.
And subtract it from the sales price. You are not less expensive than them.
You see,
'Cause
you
that-
got to be careful. Tanner, you're next. We got to go on. So Michelle, you got to be careful that you have to be empathetic, not sympathetic. And Matt
Okay.
said it right. You're kind of emotionally attached. And a doctor who does not believe their patient is sick will never get better.
Mhm.
Tanner.
Okay, so I just would, because I come across with this and I would love to role play it. I'll be a buyer, and if Matt or anybody could be an agent, I'll just give you the, situation that I come across quite often. It's if that's okay.
You want to be a what and be a who?
Buyer.
So you're the listing agent, Matt, and you have a listed property at 500,000, and I'll come as a buyer with no agent to you.
Okay.
Because
Hi, Tanner. How can I help you?
Good, Matt. So I see you asking, $500,000, and I see, there's quite a few people today. But if I wanted to purchase this, I don't have an agent, Matt. Where the seller can save from my side, would they take little less than what's asking?
Would you like to make an offer, Tanner?
I would.
Okay. Paying cash, you financing?
Financing.
Okay. And you spoken to a lender?
Yeah, I do have my pre-approval, but I really want the house.
Okay. Well, we might be able to make that happen. And before I step on toes, you're not working with somebody you know and trust. You don't have an agent. That's what you said.
So you could, like if you can help me, you could, kind of like benefit from it too.
Okay, great. What would you like to offer?
Maybe full price, the max.
Okay.
Max.
You ready to put that in writing?
I can.
Okay. Where do we go from here?
Yeah, where's the problem?
Like that. That's how I handle it. I know what you're hung up on. Let me see if I got it right. You're getting stuck on the I don't have an agent. Can we sweeten this deal up? No, my friend, that's focusing on that's focusing on this microphone as a tree. And there's a beautiful forest behind me full of abundance and animals and wonderful people. And I'm just staring at this ugly tree. What you focus on expands. Want to know if I can get a better deal if you represent me and I go straight to great. Would you like to make an offer? It's not you making the offer. He's making the offer. And then you just put it in writing, give it to the seller, say, here's what this wackadoo's offering. What do you want to do?
See, if you take the commission out, what the agent or the buyer is asking, will the seller accept less if I offer less? Will they take 3% less if there's no other agent? That's the same question. It's like, well, I don't know. I've learned to never speak to the seller. Why don't we put it in writing and I'll get a response for you?
And here's the best thing about it, Tanner. I don't know. I'm not in New York, and New York is a very litigious attorney state. So I can't speak to your listing agreements. But Denny and I down here, when we sign a listing agreement, the commission's dictated in the listing agreement. So yes, you have to have that conversation with the buyer. However, you've already done the heavy lifting as a listing agent with the commission. Do you see what I'm saying? With the seller. You've done the heavy lifting with the seller already. They've already agreed to worst case scenario, I'm going to pay this.
Was that I have two distress listings, and I get a lot of these people. They're like constantly, and I don't have an agent. Can we make a deal? I'm like,
we absolutely can make a deal. Would you like to put it in writing? That is your script from now on. We absolutely can make a deal. Would you like to put it in writing? Stop focusing on the guys, please. I'm saying to everybody right now, stop focusing on the commission and getting attached to what they say and how they say it. Absolutely, we can make a deal. Would you like to put it in writing?
Thank you, man.
And one more thing, when an agent calls you on your listing, I just had this in Sarasota on 2 lots side by side. I'm going to be very terse here. This idiot called me, agent, and she said, can you put a duplex on it? Nope, single family only. You would have to rezone it. It's in a special zoning district. But you'd have to, yeah, you can't. Single family only. Okay. How negotiable is your seller? Would your client like to make an offer? Yes, they would. Great. Offer instructions are attached to the MLS. Put it in writing, send it over. Don't speak to what they say. Like what I just because you get invited to an argument or get invited to a fist fight doesn't mean you have to go to it.
That's what I thought he was going to ask you, Matt. I thought he was going to call you and say, as an agent, hey, you got that listing over there, 500. How did that seller come up with a price? Don't even get into that conversation.
Would you like to make an offer? Like when they do
I
that?
mean, yeah, well, hey, that's what the seller. We sat down. That's what they were asking for their home. Do you have any interest in it? So, so let me ask you, Don, really quick. Turn your microphone on, Don.
Yeah.
You got a listing. You've got a listing. Let's say it's over there in PV. Would your seller? Would you as listed for 1.2? Would your seller take 1.1?
I don't know. Is your buyer willing to pay that? Write it up.
I mean, so don't even get into the tit for tat. And one more thing, you guys, and maybe I'm just a little bit too dogmatic on this. If you have someone who is being unreasonable, and it's a buyer you're working with, let's say it's a $1.2 million listing, and their model is they just know the market's going to go to dust, or they believe in taking the asking price and dividing it by their cholesterol. That's what they're going to offer. If it's a ridiculous offer, if you want to show your strength as an agent and they make a ridiculous offer, say, well, I'll tell you what, I have to present all offers. So, I have to let the sellers know, well, that's not necessarily true, but let's just assume you do. I tell you what, well, you want a fast no or a slow no?
How quick do you like your nose?
I mean, so where I'm going to, well, what do you mean? Well, I tell you what, I can call the other agent now. I can call my seller now and get a no for it so we can move on. Is that okay? Do not entertain them if they're way outside the box to take the time to write it up and all this stuff back and forth, because you're giving them hope they're going to get a date with Jennifer Aniston. It ain't happening.
Yeah, the only pushback I would give to that, and it's really not even pushback to Denny's point. If it's your buyer, put it in writing. Even if it's low, put it in writing because they need to get slapped around, and you don't need to be the one to do it.
Yeah, that's where we'd be different. I'm going to teach them quickly. I'm going to spank them sooner versus later. I'll get them the fast no.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, because if I've got my agents that are in the newer agents, you guys pick up why you pick up you wonder why don't I get somebody to come knock on my desk and wants to buy a home? Because they're working with people already. You're getting the people no one wants to work with because they have warts. They're trying to buy something in 75 cents on the dollar. And that's when you guys start saying, well, I'm working with this investor. In my mind, somebody said that today, Matt, and I thought and it was, I think maybe it was Tanner. And Tanner's experience, I hope you know what you're doing, because I've seen realtors go broke working with investors. Yeah.
Oh, I get Denny. God, we used to get him when the market was crashing. If you remember, everybody was an investor, and all these stupid. I'm not trying to be condescending, guys, but just these agents who thought that they were the best thing since sliced bread. So I got a ton of investors I'm working with, and they were quickly out of the business because those ton of investors they were working with had no navigational beacon, no buy box, couldn't define a good deal to you if it smacked them in the side of the head.
So next, okay, Tanner, thanks so much. I know Susan's got her hand up, and we've got a few more minutes before we get top of the hour, and you guys get totally bored with what we're saying. So Susan, what's your question?
Mute. Come off mute,
Oh,
Susan.
sorry. Any suggestions? I have a client sold him a condo a year ago, and we've been trying to sell that same condo since it's 100 days today. And he just agreed to a price decrease, which finally gets him where he needs to be. Because of course,
yeah.
you want to listen.
Oh, stop right there.
How do you know?
The amount of showings has gone up, number one. Number two, like I live in the community and I know. Anyways, so now he's got the lowest price 2-bedroom in the community. Here's Buddy. Hi, Buddy. My little mascot. So I've been running advertising and just did as soon as he agreed to bring it down to 209, I ran a campaign. I'm doing an open house. I'm doing all this stuff. He called me last night and he said, "Oh, I got a short-term renter for March, so cancel the open house and we can't show it in March." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me? This is our opportunity. You finally priced it right. You know, you got to work showings at least 2 days a week so we can get this thing sold. Otherwise, you're going to hang on to it for the next year and it's going to cost you $17,000. So,
So
anyways,
you're in Fort Myers, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah. So let me
So,
ask
any
you really
advice
quick.
on that one? I'm so pissed.
Yeah,
to
I
be
got it.
honest.
So let me ask you, when did you lower the price?
We lowered the price on Monday and we've
Okay.
had like 3 showings a day all week. And now he's like, "Oh, just last night at like 9 o'clock.
But
He's
hang
like, we
on,
can't
Susan.
show it in
Hang on.
March."
Hang on.
Mhm.
We're running out of time here, so really fast, and I'll give some time to Matt.
Why
too.
no offers?
Well, who said that? Ella, hang on. You're making a mistake in the way you're describing. We finally got the price right.
Mhm.
Now, we talk about the 3 outcomes, right? Everybody should know this. They should have pajamas with the fish on them, right? The 3
Mhm.
outcomes. Outcome 1 is low to no showings. Outcome 2 is showings and no offers. Outcome 3, it sells. Is it possible you're still at outcome, or you're finally at outcome 2? Where are the offers?
Are you drinking your own Kool-Aid, my love?
Well,
No,
she
it's
lives
the
in the
lowest
area,
price
which that's a
unit.
dangerous thing.
It's the lowest price unit in here, and it's
Stop,
turnkey.
stop,
So,
stop, stop.
mhm.
That does not matter.
This is tough love. We're only doing this to help you, Susan.
Well, here's the caveat. So he lowered the price on Monday. I've been running my campaigns, and we are getting 3-4 showings a day.
Hang on, Susan. This is mastery. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear. I'm sorry, I'm being dogmatic. This is my puppy here. Your campaign has nothing to do with it. Number
Right.
one, it does not. You're getting showings because you repositioned it.
Mhm.
But you repositioned it is not guaranteed that that's where you need to be to sell. Has anyone ever had a listing that gets tons of showings and it doesn't sell? You might be right, but you might not be right. I don't want you to buy into the fact that we finally got it right. You tell the seller we finally got it right, and it's not. Now you bought into it. Does that make sense to you? Does anybody feel me?
Famous last words of real estate, Susan, are "but you said." So we never use the vocabulary of Mr. Seller, and you might not have said it to him, but you've said it on here. So you're buying into that of we finally got it right. You're not writing the check, Susan. So you don't know if you have it right, or you don't know if you have it right yet or not.
Okay, but regardless, if I can't show it in March, this is my question. Like,
right. We're tackling one hurdle at a time, though. So now,
right.
Moving on to you can't show it until March.
I mean, that's my question. Because now, if he would have told me that earlier in the week, I wouldn't have spent $200 to advertise it this week. And I wouldn't have this open house that I had to pay the association $25 to get on the open
Jesus.
house, advertise the open house.
Susan,
Mhm.
we're trying to help you correct what you can control.
Mhm.
You can't
Right.
control the
So
seller. Wait, whoa. I'm not done. I'm not done.
Okay.
You don't need to spend $200.
I already did though, because I didn't know he was
I know,
gonna
but that's okay. My mentor, Dave Meltzer, he lost $100 million. He gained it back after the housing market recession. That's what he calls dummy tax. So we all pay dummy tax. Okay. So $200, it was a lesson worthwhile. But now, if you can't show it until March, this goes back to why this guy's selling.
I can't show it in March.
In March. Well, but are what's more important to you, having a tenant for March or getting this property sold?
Selling it.
Okay. So what do we need to do to